I'm 76 years old, and I raised 3 children by myself. People call me strong. They say, Alice, you're amazing. You did it all alone. They don't know that's exactly what breaks my heart. Let me tell you something about strength that nobody in our community talks about enough. We've been taught, especially as Black women, that we're supposed to carry everything, that asking for help is weak, that doing it all by yourself is something to be proud of. I believed that lie for 50 years, and it cost me more than you'll ever know. My husband left when I was 32. It was 1981. Our youngest wasn't even walking yet. I had a 9-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a baby. He just left. Went to the store for cigarettes and never came back. Found out later he had another woman over in Detroit. Left me with 3 kids, rent due, and $47 in my checking account. You know what everybody told me? You got to be strong, Alice. You got to show those babies you can make it. Don't let nobody see you cry. My mama said it. The church mothers said it. Even my best friend Sandra said it. So that's what I did. I became strong. I worked 2 jobs, sometimes 3. I cleaned offices at night, worked the checkout at Kroger during the day, and on weekends I did hair in my kitchen. I made sure my kids had everything they needed. Clean clothes, food on the table, help with homework. I was at every school event, every parent-teacher conference, every church program. I did it all, by myself. People praised me for it. Look at Alice, raising those kids all alone, never asking nobody for nothing. That's a strong Black woman right there. And I wore that badge. Lord, I wore it proud. I thought that's what I was supposed to do. Here's what nobody told me. Strength without support is just slow suicide. I'm sitting here at 76 years old, and you know what haunts me? My daughter told me something last year that broke me. We were sitting in her kitchen. She's 45 now, got her own family, and she said, Mama, I don't remember you ever smiling when we were growing up. I don't remember you ever smiling. Chilly, those words hit me like a freight train. I sat there looking at her, and I couldn't even argue, because she was right. I was so busy being strong, so busy proving I could do it all alone, that I forgot to be happy. I forgot to be human. I forgot to let my children see me as anything other than a workhorse. But here's the part that really haunts me. My son Marcus, my middle child, he's 48 now, won't ask nobody for help with nothing. His marriage almost fell apart 2 years ago because he was trying to handle everything by himself, working himself sick, drowning in stress, but wouldn't tell his wife what was wrong, wouldn't go to counseling, wouldn't talk to nobody. You know what he told me when I asked him why? You did it alone, Mama. I saw you. That's what we do. That's when everything changed for me. That's when I realized what I'd really taught my children. I thought I was teaching them strength. I was teaching them isolation. I thought I was showing them how to survive. I was showing them how to suffer in silence. Let me take you back to those years. Back to when I thought I was doing everything right. When the kids were small, this was the early 80s, I used to get up at 4:30 in the morning. I'd make breakfast, pack lunches, lay out clothes for school. Then I'd get ready for my day shift at Kroger. My mama would come watch the baby while the older 2 were at school. I'd work 8 hours on my feet, scanning groceries, smiling at customers, yes ma'am, no sir, have a blessed day. Then I'd come home, cook dinner, help with homework, get everybody bathed and in bed. Then I'd leave at 10 p.m. to clean offices until 3 in the morning. I did that for 7 years. 7 years. People at church would say, Alice, let us help you. Sister Williams can watch the kids sometimes. Brother Johnson said he'd fix that leak in your kitchen. And you know what I'd say? No, thank you. I got it. We fine. I got it. We fine. I was so busy being strong that I couldn't see how much help was being offered. And after a while, people stopped offering. Because nobody wants to keep offering help to somebody who keeps turning it down. When my oldest, Keisha, was in high school, this was 1990-91, she wanted to try out for the track team. She was fast, too, could run like the wind. But practice was right after school, and I needed her home to watch her brothers while I worked. So I told her no. I needed her to be strong, to help the family. She never asked again. She's 54 now. Never played sports. Never tried out for anything after that. And last year, she told me she still thinks about it. Still wonders what might have been if she'd been allowed to just be a kid instead of my co-parent at 15. In 1995, I got real sick. Pneumonia. Couldn't hardly breathe. The doctor said I needed to stay in bed for at least a week. Maybe 2. You know what I did? I went to work anyway, because rent was due, because the kids needed to eat, because I was strong, and strong black women don't stay in bed. I ended up in the hospital for 3 days. Nearly died. The hospital bill put me in debt for the next 5 years. My friend Sandra, we'd been friends since elementary school, survived integration together at Harrison High. She came to visit me in that hospital. She sat by my bed and cried. She said, "Alice, why won't you let people love you? Why won't you let us help?" I told her the same thing I always said. I got to show my kids they can make it. I got to be strong. She looked at me, I'll never forget this, and she said, "Baby, you're not being strong. You're being stubborn. And there's a difference." I was mad at her for months after that. Stopped talking to her for almost a year. Because the truth hurt too much. The years kept going. The kids grew up. I kept working, kept being strong, kept doing everything alone. When Marcus graduated high school in 1996, he got a scholarship to Michigan State. Full ride. But I didn't have money for his dorm stuff, his books, all the extras. My pride wouldn't let me tell him. My pride wouldn't let me ask the church for help, even though they had a fund for that kind of thing. He ended up not going. Stayed home, went to community college, worked at the plant. He never said it was because of money, but I knew. And he knew I knew. That's what my strength cost him. A chance. When my youngest, Jerome, was in his 20s, this was early 2000s, he got into some trouble. Started running with the wrong crowd. I could see it happening. But I was working so much, tired all the time, and I kept telling myself he's grown. He got to figure it out himself. That's what I did. He ended up doing 2 years. 2 years. For something that maybe could have been prevented if I'd just asked for help. If I'd let somebody from the church mentor him. If I'd let Big Mike from the barbershop take him under his wing like he'd offered. But I was too strong to accept help. Those 2 years aged me 10. Visiting my baby in Jackson Prison every other Sunday. Watching him in that orange jumpsuit. Knowing I could have prevented it if I hadn't been so damn proud. The turning point came 5 years ago. I was 71. My oldest daughter, Keisha, called me one morning, crying. Her husband had lost his job. They had 2 kids in college. The mortgage was behind. She was scared. And you know what she said to me? "Mama, I don't know how to ask for help. You never taught me how." I sat there on the phone, and it was like God himself had slapped me across the face. My daughter was drowning, and she didn't know how to reach for a life preserver because I'd never shown her it was okay. That's when I finally broke. That's when the strength I'd been holding onto for 40 years finally crumbled. I cried for 3 days straight. Not just for me, for what I'd done to my children, for the legacy I'd passed down, for all those years I'd confused suffering with strength. I called Sandra, the friend I'd pushed away, the friend who'd tried to tell me the truth in that hospital room 15 years earlier. I called her and I said the hardest words I'd ever said in my life. I need help. She came over that day. We sat in my kitchen, the same kitchen where I used to do hair on weekends, the same kitchen where I'd pack lunches at 4:30 a.m., the same kitchen where I'd cried alone so many nights, and I told her everything. Everything I'd been carrying. Everything I'd been too proud to share. And you know what she did? She didn't say, "I told you so." She just held me. Then she called Sister Williams and Brother Johnson and half the church. Within a week, they'd organized help for Keisha, got her husband connected with some job opportunities, set up a fund to help with the mortgage. The community I'd held at arm's length for 40 years showed up, just like they'd been trying to do all along. That was my wake-up call. At 71 years old, I finally started learning what I should have known at 32. So I started changing. And let me tell you, changing at 71 is hard. Real hard. But necessary. First thing I did was call each of my kids. I apologized. I told them I was wrong. Wrong for thinking that doing everything alone was strength. Wrong for teaching them that asking for help was weakness. Wrong for showing them that carrying everything by yourself was something to be proud of. Keisha cried. Marcus got quiet. That's what he does when he's emotional. Jerome said, Mama, we turned out okay. But I could hear it in his voice. The relief. Like he'd been waiting his whole life to hear me say it. Then I started actually accepting help. Sister Williams started coming by on Thursdays. We'd have coffee, talk. Sometimes she'd bring groceries. Sometimes she'd just sit with me. At first, I'd try to pay her back somehow, insist on returning the favor. She finally said, Alice, just say thank you. That's all. Just thank you. So I learned to say thank you. Brother Johnson fixed that leak in my kitchen, the one that had been there since 1983. 40 years I'd been working around that dripping faucet. 40 years. He fixed it in 20 minutes. When I tried to pay him, he said, Sister Alice, I've been trying to fix this for you for decades. Just let me bless you. I learned to let people bless me. I joined a support group at the church. Single mothers, widows, women who'd been through it. We met every Tuesday night. At first, I didn't talk much. Just listened. Heard their stories. Realized I wasn't alone. Realized I never had been alone. I'd just chosen to be. Then one Tuesday, I shared my story. Told them everything. The exhaustion. The pride. The mistakes. The cost. When I finished, Sister Patricia, she's 82, raised 6 kids alone after her husband died in Vietnam. She said, Welcome home, baby. We've been waiting for you. I cried. But this time, it wasn't alone in my kitchen at 3 a.m. It was surrounded by women who understood, who'd been there, who didn't judge me, who just loved me. I started asking my kids for help too. Small things at first. Marcus, can you change this light bulb? Keisha, would you mind picking up my prescription? Jerome, I need help figuring out this phone. Things I would have struggled with alone before. Things I would have seen as weakness. And you know what? They loved it. They loved being able to give back. They loved being needed. My whole life, I'd thought I was protecting them by not needing them. Turns out, I was just pushing them away. Last year, I fell in my bathroom. Nothing serious, but I couldn't get up by myself. Old age, you know. My knees ain't what they used to be. 5 years ago, I would have laid there for hours, trying to get up on my own, too proud to press the medical alert button the kids had given me. This time, I pressed it. Help came, and I wasn't ashamed. My daughter was right. I didn't smile much when they were growing up. But you know what? I smile now. I smile a lot now. Because I'm not carrying everything alone anymore. Because I finally learned what real strength is. Real strength isn't doing everything by yourself. Real strength is knowing when to ask for help. Real strength is being vulnerable enough to let people in. Real strength is building a community and leaning on it when you need to. Now let me tell you something, and I need you to really hear me. Especially if you're a young Black woman. Especially if you're raising kids alone. Especially if you've been taught that you got to be strong, that you got to handle everything, that asking for help is weakness. That's a lie. That's a lie that's been passed down through generations of Black women who had to survive. Our grandmothers had to be strong because they had no choice. They were living under Jim Crow. They were working in white folks' kitchens. They were raising kids alone because lynching and racism and mass incarceration took their men. They had to be strong to survive. But baby, we're not just trying to survive anymore. We're trying to live. And there's a difference. Your strength is valuable. Your resilience is real. But strength without support will break you. I know. I've lived it. I'm watching my children struggle with it. I'm watching my son's marriage suffer because of it. I'm watching my daughter work herself sick because of it. I'm watching my youngest still learning to trust people because of it. If I could go back to 1981, to that moment when my husband left and I decided I had to do everything alone, here's what I would tell that 32-year-old version of myself. Accept the help. When Sister Williams offers to watch the kids, say yes. When Brother Johnson offers to fix that leak, let him. When Sandra offers to bring dinner, accept it with gratitude. When the church offers to help with bills, swallow your pride and say thank you. Your children don't need to see you do everything alone. They need to see you be human. They need to see you smile. They need to see you accept love and support. They need to see that community matters, that we're not meant to do this life by ourselves. Let them see you cry sometimes. Let them see you admit when you're tired. Let them see you ask for help. That's what they need to see, because otherwise you're teaching them the same lie that was taught to you. That suffering alone is noble. That carrying everything by yourself is strength. It's not. It's pride. And pride will cost you everything. Here's what else I'd tell myself. Your children would rather have a happy mother than a perfect one. They would rather have a mother who's present than a mother who's exhausted. They would rather see you living than watching you slowly die from trying to be Superwoman. And to you, reading this right now, whoever you are, if you're trying to do it all alone, please stop. If you're working 3 jobs and never sleeping, please ask for help. If you're telling yourself you got to be strong, please understand that accepting support is strength. You think you're being noble by suffering alone. You're not. You're being stubborn. And I say that with love because I was you. I was stubborn for 50 years. Your community wants to help you. Your family wants to help you. Your church wants to help you. Let them. Stop pushing people away because you think you got to prove something. Stop turning down help because you think it makes you weak. You know what's weak? Being so proud that you end up in the hospital. Being so stubborn that your kids grow up not knowing how to ask for help. Being so determined to do it alone that you miss your daughter's smile, your son's game, your baby's first steps because you're working yourself to death. I missed so much. So much. And I can't get it back. I can't go back and say yes to Sister Williams. I can't go back and let Keisha run track. I can't go back and accept help before I ended up in that hospital. I can't go back and let the church help Marcus go to college. I can't go back and let Big Mike mentor Jerome. I can't go back. But you can go forward differently. I'm 76 years old now. I've got maybe 10, 15 years left if I'm lucky. And you know what I'm doing with that time? I'm letting people love me. I'm asking for help when I need it. I'm being part of a community instead of an island. I'm smiling. Lord, I'm finally smiling. My grandkids see a different version of me than my kids did. They see their Grandma Alice laughing at church dinners. They see me asking Brother Johnson for help. They see me at Sister Williams' house for coffee. They see me being human. And when my granddaughter asked me last month, "Grandma, were you always this happy?" my daughter answered before I could. She said, "No, baby. Your grandma learned how to be happy. She learned it's okay to need people." That's my legacy now. Not the strong Black woman who did everything alone, but the woman who finally learned that we're not meant to do life by ourselves. That community matters. That asking for help is brave. That accepting support is strength. Don't make my mistake. Don't wait until you're 71 to learn what you should know now. Don't wait until your children are grown and carrying the same burden you carried. Don't wait until you've missed so many smiles, so many moments, so many chances to just be happy. Accept the help. Build the community. Let people in. Be vulnerable. Be human. Be happy. That's real strength. And I wish somebody had told me that 50 years ago. But I'm telling you now. I'm telling you while you still have time. While your babies are still small. While your life is still ahead of you. While you can still choose differently than I did. Choose community over isolation. Choose support over suffering alone. Choose happiness over pride. Choose to live, not just survive. Share this with every Black woman you know who's trying to do it all alone. Share it with your mama, your sister, your cousin, your friend. Share it with that young woman at church who won't accept help. Share it with yourself if you need to hear it. Leave a comment and tell me, what are you carrying that you don't have to carry alone? What help have you been turning down? What community have you been pushing away? It's not too late. It's never too late. But don't wait as long as I did. The choice is yours. But make it now, because your children are watching. And what you teach them about strength will follow them for the rest of their lives. Teach them the truth. We're stronger together than we ever could be alone. God bless you. And please let people love you. You deserve it.